When I first started learning to chant, I felt completely lost. The 8 modes just seemed so overwhelming and I had no idea where to start. And if you're in a similar place where I was in that journey, you're probably feeling the same way. But by working with various teachers from Greece and America, I was able to learn a structured path to getting to know the 8 modes, and I am here in this video to share that path with you to help you on your learning journey. My name is Chris Gouloukis. I'm the Protopsaltis at St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church in Seattle, Washington, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you a structured path to learning the 8 modes using the beginner's book that all chant students learn with when they are just starting out, the Anastasimatario. Now, if you'd like to download this structured outline in PDF form, you can go to the description and find a link to my 8-mode reference guide. It contains hymns for beginners in each mode, including music and recordings with paralagi and melos that you can use to help you in your learning journey, as well as recordings of chanters from Greece singing hymns in all tones to help you start to get an ear for each mode as well. So, let's begin. What is the Anastasimatario? That's a great question. The Anastasimatario is a book that contains Vespers and Orthros music in all 8 tones for music of the resurrection, or, in other words, music that we sing on Sundays. It's the standard book for beginning chant students. Everybody uses it when they're learning the 8 tones, and it is a gigantic book. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I got it here with me. Look at this thing. It's massive. It's got a ton of music. And all of this stuff is stuff that you're going to need to know if you're going to be chanting, right? It is, let me tell you how many pages. It is 692 pages. That's a lot of pages. So, here's the question. How am I going to tackle all of this music and all of these 8 tones in a way that's not going to overwhelm me and just make me want to quit? Well, let me tell you. So the first step that you want to do is, if you can and if you can afford it, you can find a teacher. This is someone you want to chant with at the chant stand, and also somebody that you can take lessons with either in person and online. Remember, chanting is an oral tradition. It's something that was traditionally passed down from teacher to student, and if at all possible, the best way to learn is through this, all right? It'll be just easier for you to learn the traditional ways of chanting, easier for you to learn traditional ornamentation, and easier for you to get personal feedback on things that you need to work on personally. If you can afford a teacher, that's the best way to go. Of course, I do teach lessons online. If you are looking for a teacher and you want to try lessons with me, you can go ahead and click the link in the description to schedule a 30-minute chant lesson. So how are you going to tackle the modes in this gigantic book? Well, first of all, you're not just going to go front to back. The modes are meant to be learned in a certain order, with diatonic modes first and harmonic tones second, and then third, the chromatic modes. So what does that mean for you? Well, what that means is you are going to start with plagal 4th tone, and that's going to give you a really solid foundation for the diatonic modes. Then after that, you're going to move on to 1st mode. Then you're going to move on to 4th mode, and then after 4th mode, you are going to move on to plagal 1st mode. After you master all of those modes with the music in the Anastasimatario, then you're going to move on to the enharmonic modes. The enharmonic modes are 3rd mode and varis mode, or as it's known in English, grave mode. After that, you learn the chromatic modes, 2nd mode and plagal 2nd. These modes really build on each other, so by learning all the diatonic modes in that order that I mentioned, they're gonna build on each other. Plagal 4th is kind of like the foundation of the house that is chanting that you're learning, and then after that, the 1st tone are like the walls, 4th tone is kind of like the roof, and then plagal 1st tone, right? You get all the house together. So you want to kind of get those building blocks, learn them well, and then you're going to move on to the next, the enharmonic and then the chromatic. If you follow this order, you're going to learn the foundational skills that you need to master all of the modes, all right? You don't want to go front to back, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. That's too much. That's too confusing. You're going to be switching scales every mode, and it's going to be very confusing for you. You're not going to build that foundation, all right? Now, you might be asking, well, it's great that I know the order to learn things in. That's awesome. But what hymns am I supposed to learn first? Like, where do I even start? That is a great question. I will answer that for you right now. So we noticed that we're going to learn plagal 4th first, right? So by learning Plagal Fourth, what hymn are we going to start with? Well, we are going to start with the very first hymn that we learn for the Vesper service, which is Kyrie Ekekraksa. If you have the version of the Anastasia Mutarian that I have here, that I will be linking down in the description below, that's going to be on page 677 with the Sindoma, all right, the etymologic melos here. You're going to go through, you're going to start with Kyrie Ekekraksa, and then you're just going to go page by page. You learn this page first, then you move to the next page, you learn all of this, and you just basically go front to back with this Plagal Fourth stuff. You get to know it really, really well. And then when you're done, the back here, where do you go? Okay, I learned all of the Vespers stuff from Plagal Fourth. What am I going to do now? Well, then you're going to move to not the etymologic that you just learned, but the stichiraric. You're going to move to the stichiraric stuff, which is on page 486, right here. And this, of course, is going to be stichiraric, so it's going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be a little bit more elaborate. It's the same Kyrie Ekekraksa that you learned before, the same texts that you had for Plagal Fourth in the etymologic mode, but it's just going to be a little bit more drawn out, all right? And then you do the same thing. You go front to back for the Vespers music. You just learn it all. And this is how you get really familiar with the modes. You just go through all of this music very methodically, front to back. You're going to notice patterns in the modes. You're going to start to understand how they work, and then you're going to get an ear for them. Also, in my 8-mode reference guide, like I said, there are links to recordings for every mode. Listening is just as important as practicing with your own voice, because you get a feel for what the mode sounds like. So make sure you're listening to Plagal Fourth mode as well. Then we get to the Orthros music, which starts on page 504 of this edition. You can see it says right here, Iston Orthron, Orthros music. And then you're going to learn all the Orthros music front to back. Then you've got Plagal Fourth. You've done it. Amazing. Then what are you going to do? You're going to move on to the etymologic melos for first mode. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to start with the stuff in the back, and then you're going to move through all of that stuff front to back, and then you're going to go to at the very beginning of this book. We've got first mode at the very beginning, and then you go front to back for Vespers, and then for Orthros as well. And do that for every single mode that I mentioned in the order that I mentioned it, and you will really get a feel for each of those modes. Now, of course, you're going to want to know, am I even doing this right? Because when you learn by yourself, especially if you're self-taught, it's really hard to know if you're actually getting something right when there's not someone next to you to tell you you're doing it wrong, right? So you want to have recordings of each of these hymns that you can practice with. I will link recordings in the description below for all of these hymns. It's going to be in a really big folder in Google Drive. It might be a little tricky to navigate for those of you who don't read Greek, but if you need help, always feel free to reach out to me at the email that I have in the description below. So that is going to be the method that you want to use to learn the modes using this book, all right? You've got Plagal Fourth, first, fourth, then Plagal first, then you do third mode and Varis, then you do Plagal second and second mode, diatonic and harmonic and chromatic. And if you follow that pattern, it's really going to help you out. It's really going to be a good structure for you. The last thing I'll say about this is that this is not going to be a thing where you do it for a month and then you're done, right? As I said, this book is 692 pages. If you're in Greece and you're learning how to chant, you graduate with your diploma after 5 years. Not saying it's going to take you 5 years, especially if you're a musician already. But it's something that takes a lot of time and practice and diligence and patience, right? So my recommendation for practicing this is setting aside 15 minutes a day in order to start going over this material. 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. If you do that consistently, it's really going to help you build up this knowledge in your brain. Okay, and I really encourage consistent practice daily rather than practicing for 1 or 2 hours 1 day a week, then do it on another day the next week. But by the time you get to that next week, you've already forgotten the stuff you learned the week before, right? Because a week has passed. So make sure that you're really keeping your practice consistent. All right. So that's all of the help that I've got for you today. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I do my best to respond to every single comment with every single question that you all have. And God bless. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.